Lab Coat Agents? It's Tristan and Nick, and today we've got an amazing guest with us from the back of a car in Las Vegas, Chris Heller. Now, if you don't know Chris Heller, he was the CEO of Keller Williams and for about 2 years. He's been in the business for 30 years out of San Diego. If you don't know him, I don't think you've been in real estate for that long.
Wait, is it Chris Heller, the home seller? Is that who it is?
Chris Heller, the home seller. That's his that's a slogan.
I love it.
Everybody knows it in San Diego, man.
I love it.
Runs a team, runs a few brokerages. You're owner operator of quite a few brokerages, right, Chris?
Yeah, I have 2 market centers and then some regional interests. And then
perfect. You cut off a little bit there, but
Cut off.
okay.
So just repeat that real quick because it cut off a little bit. So your ownership in how many market centers?
So in 3 market centers and in a couple of regions.
Awesome.
Okay, awesome.
Awesome. All right, well let's get to it because we've got 30 minutes. I know you don't have a lot of time.
Yeah, he's in the back of the car. Once he gets to his destination, it's it. It's over. We're done. Yeah, mid-sentence.
All right, so first thing, we get this question asked a lot, and we want to ask you first. What was the #1 book you read this year for you?
Oh man, since I've read a ton of books this year.
What stood out? What was
#1? So it's I can't say the #1 because some of them are so good, but one that stood out was Presence by Amy Cuddy.
Presence. Why did that one stand out for you?
It was just a really good book and a great message, and I think it's something that anyone, no matter where they're at and what they're doing, would benefit from the learnings in there.
Wow. All right. Cool. I just wrote that down. I'm going to take a look at it. Thanks, Chris. Nick, do you want to jump in with some questions, or you want me to go?
Yeah, so let's talk about Chris. Tell us. I want to know. You've been in the business for 30 years. I mean, it's amazing to me, right? So, what are some of the major differences? Obviously, other than technology evolving, what are some of the major differences in this industry that you've really seen, and since when you started till now, and how can agents adapt to this always changing environment to help grow their business?
Oh, they have to adapt. Adapt or disappear is the way the business works now. The changes is I think it's just more competitive now than ever before, and because of technology, technology is becoming in a lot of ways the great equalizer in our business. Newer agents can accomplish more in a shorter amount of time by leveraging technology, and a lot of that has to do with our ability to market directly to consumers in a very effective and very quick way, where in the past, it was much more deliberate and a much slower process. Other than that, it's our industry is, it's funny in that a lot is still very much as it was 20 or 30 years ago. So, but
it's still very much a
definitely more competitive. I think
right?
A newer agent coming into the business. Yeah, it's still a relationship business. The objections that a seller has today are the same ones they had 20 or 30 years ago. The process for helping someone buy a home is the same.
Got it. What do you recommend, Chris, with a lot of agents that are newer jumping on after the whole debacle that we had during the economy? I think we lost a lot of agents, but a lot of newer ones are jumping on, and they're asking, well, look, how do I get business? Is it still the same? Do you still go for the relationship? Do you still go for your sphere, or would you recommend starting somewhere else as a new agent?
No, I think in our business, there's a lot of different ways to get business, and which is actually one of the challenges for new agents, because there's so many different ways, and I think people get lost in what they think they need to do, or trying too many things. I think there's I've always had the opinion, right or wrong, good or bad, that just focus on one or two ways and become really, really good at that, master that, and then start adding more sources of business. But for new agents coming in, it is a relationship business. We know that because we know the reason people choose agents more times than not is because of the relationship or the referral or the association they have with that agent. If it was anything other than that, if it was just because they were the top agents would get all the business, and we know that doesn't happen.
Got it.
I think that was really important what you just said. So many agents focus on so many things. There's so many shiny objects out there, and just kind of honing in on something that really works. That's sometimes really hard for agents because there's so much competition and they feel like they need to be doing everything all the time. And so once you figure out what's working for you, just, drive that home even more so. Like I realized that 75% of my business this year actually came from my past clients in Sphere. And some of it's from the internet and Facebook, but I'm going to focus so much more on that next year because that's, the numbers don't lie.
Yeah, no, it is. And you're right, Nick. And the other thing too, the other mistake agents make is they switch. If something isn't getting the results they want that quickly or right away, they drop it and go on to something new. And we have to be able to get results for long enough in order to get the results, or to. I just saw a talk on TED Talk from a former Navy SEAL saying, you have to embrace the suck. You have to be willing to suck at something long enough to get good at it.
That's so true, man. Well, look, you've been in the business for so long. One of the questions that we ask people that have been in the business for a while, because we know it takes a ton of time to suck at something and then get good at it. What inspires you? What keeps on moving you forward, man? Because you keep on morphing into this new you and then conquering.
Yeah, that's a good question because I don't think about that. I don't. So I think what inspires me is just seeing things other people do. As far as morphing and growing and learning, that's just part of what I'm made of inside. I mean, I'm always looking to improve. I'm always looking to learn more. I'm always looking to grow every single day. And in any day that I don't do that, it feels almost like a wasted day or a wasted opportunity.
Do you think that comes from the associations you've had growing in this business, or were you always like that from when you first started? Because a lot of agents ask, well, how do I get to that level? Right?
So there are two things. There are two ways I'll answer that. One is, yes, I've always had the drive and the desire to do more. But I'm sorry for the distraction.
No problem, bud.
Someone just took my wallet to go check in the hotel. So I've always had drive. I'm never satisfied. I never have been satisfied. I've always wanted to do better, do more. So that's there. As far as the inspiration, yeah, I mean the exposure, being exposed to people, or the associations with people that have done more or are doing more or think differently, that always helps us grow.
Good. All right, bud. Nick, you have any questions?
I got a question, Chris. So we were talking about technology before and how agents need to adapt. And so every day we're looking at these different startups coming out, and agents are afraid that, they're constantly afraid that these startups are going to take our jobs. They're going to interject into the process and make us less valuable, or they're going to try to talk our commission down. How do you feel about these startups that try to disrupt our livelihood? And do you think they're a flash in the pan? Do you think that there's a market for them? What's your take on that?
No, I don't think they're a flash in the pan. I think there is a market for them. I think they will change what we do and how we do it. Now, that being said, the reason they exist and the reason they will be here and are here and will continue to come here is because so many agents don't provide a great experience for the consumer. And as long as the consumer isn't getting what they want what they deserve, what they need, there will be people looking to provide that. And the top agents do that. The top agents, do provide a great experience for their customers, and the customers love them, and they go away going, wow, that was a great experience. But that is such a minority of the experiences that consumers have, that if we don't continue to up our game, we will be impacted. Absolutely.
I absolutely love that. Sorry, Tristan, I just want to interject. I absolutely love that answer, because it's so true that I think a lot of times, and probably agents are going to hate to hear this, we like to play the victim. We like to act like, everyone else is at fault but us. And so what it comes down to is not necessarily decreasing what we're worth, but increasing the value that we give to a potential buyer or seller. And I think if we do that, that's going to just make our life expectancy in this business that much longer. I just wanted to interject with that.
No,
So
well, Chris, in regards to what you said, we've got 15 minutes. Do you have 15 minutes more? You're good with that?
I'm good with it.
Okay, perfect. In regards to what you were saying, where does one person as an agent trying to make it, or a team, start when you're talking about that experience that you want to create? Where would you start, right? That's a question I get asked.
Well, yeah, I think you start by looking at yourself, and what's the experience that you want. And there's so many examples all around us. Let's say here we are in the holiday season, so a lot of us are shopping. I know the experience I want. I want to be able to find what I want very easily, very quickly, purchase it in a click or two, and if it doesn't work out or it needs to be returned, there is zero hassle. It's just as easy to do that as it was to acquire it. I don't want to go stand in lines. I don't want to have trouble finding what I'm looking for. I don't want to have a long process and have to fill out lots of forms and go through lots of pages to click through to get to what I want to do. I think and that's in my age group. And my kids that range from 17 to 27 are even less patient than I am. Well, I don't know if that's true. I am pretty darn impatient. but the point being is, the younger generations are looking for that, because everything else we do is that easy, and there's no reason why this process shouldn't be that way. So understanding that, how quickly we respond, how professional we are, how responsive we are to the needs, the concerns, and even better yet, anticipating those needs and concerns, and providing, whether it's a conversation or whatever is needed before the client's even asking for it.
Dude, that's a really good point. All right, good. So everybody listening, that was good. Nick, you have questions? Because I've got a few that I want to ask.
Oh, I got a quick question. I think a lot of people will really love to hear the answer to this. We talk a lot about time blocking. We'll talk a lot about scheduling. Chris, tell us what your normal, well, I don't know if you have a normal day, but an average day for you, how does it look from when you wake up to when you go to bed?
So like currently, like right now?
Yeah, like maybe,
So my
now,
current...
well, you're traveling now, so maybe now wouldn't be the perfect example. Well, when you're at home and you wake up and you go to or you do what you need to do, what's that look like? What's a normal day look like for you?
It's not a whole lot. It's not a whole lot different from when I was working as an agent, or in my roles at Keller Williams. I typically get up at 5, and first thing I do is work out. Actually, I shouldn't say the first thing I do, because what I'll do is I'll get ready. I'll spend about 15 minutes and try to clear out my inbox, and then head to the gym and work out, get breakfast, come back, return any emails I need to do. And then the rest of the day for me right now is meeting, calls, advising, coaching, my team, some of the companies that I'm working with. So it's and then I often will either do a longer workout in the morning depending on the schedule, or if I can't, then I'll do a shorter one at the end of the day also.
Got it.
I've been focused on getting more sleep than I normally did. My goal is to consistently get 6 to 6.5 hours instead of 5 to 5.5, and I've been doing that much better. So
What prompted that, man?
Just
I
understanding.
think he
It's
might have
not
just been,
understanding.
maybe he was just
Just
tired.
yeah. What? It's finally just saying, like, I want to be around and I want to be in good health as I am, but I want to stay that way as long as possible. And you know, consistently operating with not enough sleep and mentally I can push beyond that, but that's not healthy.
All right. I asked you what prompted that because we've talked to a few different high level people, and they keep on telling us the same thing. And we see that being maybe a trend of coming back and saying, hey, you know what? I actually do need more sleep, which is 6 to 7 hours or so. So I thought that was interesting that you mentioned that. That along
Well,
with
I'm gonna say
meditation,
that
some
it was
people are
interesting
also
that he
telling
mentioned.
us that meditation is one thing that they're also adding to their morning part. So cool, man.
Well, it was also interesting that he mentioned
Yeah.
that sleep because yesterday we had a discussion in Lab Code Agents about sleep, and so so many agents are getting like 4 to 5 hours of sleep, and 2 nights ago I actually got 8 hours for the first time in months. I felt like a new person. So once in a while you just need to sleep a little bit so you can be on your game. I love it.
All right, Chris, direction of the market. It's easier to tell, I think, direction of the market in regards to, are we going in an up market, a down market, based on home selling and not selling. But with the addition of all of this new technology coming in to try to disrupt us, I think we touched on it a little bit. Where do you see a real estate agent being a few years from now as we see a lot of these new companies come in and trying to take a piece of our commission? Do you see our commission dropping? Do you see the agent, maybe some newer agents or less experienced agents being replaced? What do you see happening?
So I think there will be fewer agents in the future. I think that's just going to be part of the evolution in our industry. There will be downward pressure on commissions, and that's where skills and value in providing a great experience will become even more important. The agents that don't will simply have to compete on lower margins, and unfortunately, a lot of them will do that. I never, having invested now in some technology companies and very focused on technology the last several years, and still having a real estate sales business in San Diego, I don't view any of it as anyone coming after our commission. I view it as they're coming after the consumer, and whoever wins the consumer is going to be fine.
That's a really interesting way to look at it. I love that view because they're really not coming out. I mean, there's clearly a market for it. If there's people willing to invest in a company like that, there's clearly a market for it. I love that they're coming after the consumer. That's a really great way to look at it. I love that.
Yeah, it goes along well with what you were saying, Chris, which is the experience that we're creating for the consumer. I think it really comes down to that. So that was good. That was perfect.
Yeah.
Now shifting a little tiny bit, Bitcoin. It's a big topic. I just need to ask.
Yeah,
If you don't,
people are buying homes with it.
Yeah, people are buying homes with it. It's just nuts. Do you see that blockchain technology being applied to real estate, or have you really not thought about it, or just your thoughts in general?
We're not there yet, certainly, but I think we are seeing, in some cases, we're at the very early stages of things that are transforming and things that will morph and mutate into things that we don't see yet. and a lot of those type of things, whether it's technologies or cryptocurrencies, are those things. I don't think we're witnessing the end game in any of them. We're at some stage of the evolution in those, and I fully believe that they will continue to evolve, and a lot of the things that seem way out there and far-fetched a few years from now won't seem that way at all.
All right. Now, there's a question from the audience, and it's a good question for most of the agents out there watching. They want to know your team. What's a number one source for getting listings? I thought that was a good question.
Yeah, I think so. Since I've been gone, it's probably been radio and television, or past clients and center of influence. Those are the top two, and I don't know which is the top one right now.
Nice.
So really, radio and TV, that's really interesting. That's very interesting.
That's awesome, man. I like it.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions, Nick?
Yeah, I do. So, Chris, you're obviously a leader in the industry. There's no doubt about that. But who inspires you? Who do you currently look up to, and who drives you to do better every day?
So I find inspiration everywhere. I mean, it happens with my kids. It happens with watching guys like you guys and new agents that accomplish things, and it's pretty easy for me to get inspired. I don't need, in good or bad, I don't need inspiration to be motivated. I am naturally motivated, and the internal engine runs fast and runs hot, and I don't have to be pumped up or anything else. It's for me, it's all about energy. There's things that give me energy, and there's things that take energy. And as long as I'm limiting the things that take energy from me, and I'm spending more time around people or efforts or initiatives that give me energy, then it's all good.
All right, cool, man. We've got 4 minutes, so we're going to wrap this up almost. Question here that's been a good topic in Lab Coat Agents is coaching, not coaching. How do you see coaching as an industry, and would you recommend that every agent get coached or just some?
Yeah, I'm a believer in coaching. From the first day I heard that I could hire a coach, I hired one. I have one right now, and I've had one. Most of my career since the mid '90s. I've had a coach pretty much since the mid '90s through today. So I absolutely believe in it. If we want to accomplish something at a higher level than we are, and I don't care if it's to be a better guitar player or tennis player or a real estate agent or business person, having someone help you do that will get you there faster. It's like going to the gym. If I had a trainer right now, I'm sure I would be in better shape than I am. And not that I'm complaining, and I'm happy with the shape I'm in. But if I had a trainer, it would push me as hard as I push myself. It would push me even more.
Nice. All right. So you're a believer in coaching. Good, man. So are we. We just think that there are some coaching companies and people out there that just take advantage of the whole coaching platform. That's all.
Absolutely. It's finding the right coach and the right coaching company is absolutely critical.
You also have to be willing to be coached.
Yeah. Otherwise, I think we call that torture. If you're
it sometimes it can feel that way, but yeah, no, totally agree with you 100%. Chris,
right.
So
wrap it up, Nick.
We have a lot of new agents in our group, and there just seems to be an influx of people getting their license these days, and it can be really overwhelming. So I just want you to leave everyone with like one piece of advice. What should new agents just kind of how can they kind of get off the ground and focus and just kind of like tune out all the noise and just kind of get down to work and start doing business?
This is going to sound simplistic, but I really think it is. It all begins with lead generation. If we're not prospecting and lead generating every day, regardless of how we do it, whether it's through social media or knocking on doors or any other thing that we're doing, that is the most important thing. So as a new agent, you want to be spending the majority of your time doing that and a focused, intense effort. And at the same time, working on the skills, working on your scripts. The new agents that simply create a schedule, follow the schedule, and practice their skills and their techniques every day will get to where they want to go faster.
There you have it, folks.
That's it, man. I love that. Chris, do you want to end with anything? Are you good like that? Because that was beautiful.
I almost don't want to add anything else.
I don't want to say anything else.
Yeah, a very nice person picked me up from the airport, and she is standing outside the car waiting for me to finish this so she can get on with her day. So
awesome,
I don't, look, I appreciate you guys. I watch and read the things get posted in the Loudco group, and for anyone out there and anyone part of the group, if I can ever help with anything, send me a message, shoot me an email. You guys in any way, shape I can.
Wait, did you guys hear that? Chris Heller's reading all your posts. So start behaving.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
That's awesome.
Or don't behave.
Yeah, or don't behave. Thanks, guys.
All right, you guys.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
day. Thanks, Chris.
See ya.
Thanks. Take care.
Bye-bye.
You too.